If you ever find yourself having a day where you're really angry with your mom, or that you're doubting whether or not she loves you, watch this video. Hey Ginny, it's me, your dad. I'm making a video for you every week so that someday when you're older, you can look back and you can know what your life was like when you were younger. This is your story. You are 16 weeks old. So it turns out that breastfeeding can be incredibly difficult for some people. What from the outside seems like it's going to be really natural and simple to do just doesn't happen for some people. And despite your mother's superhuman efforts, you never took to it. But she was undaunted. She wanted you to have the benefits of breast milk. So she made the decision that she would exclusively pump. And that means that she's hooked up to a machine about 8 times a day for anywhere from 20 minutes to 60 minutes per pump. And if we're being honest, the machines, they're a little uncomfortable to use. The pumping schedule means your mom doesn't get the amount of sleep that she should be getting. So in order to help her so she could rest a little bit, I took you to physio by myself the other day. And while we were there, the physiotherapist was working on you and you made a noise. It was kind of like a, ah! And the physiotherapist said, "That's great, she's laughing." And that was the first I'd heard you make that noise, and I never would have called it a laugh myself. But when I got home, I told your mother that you laughed at the appointment. And your mom was heartbroken. I think she felt a little bit of guilt that she had elected to stay home. And in staying home, she missed your first laugh. So she made it her goal that your next laugh would be for her. This focus of making you laugh kind of took over for a few days. She would do anything she could to try and get a response out of you. She was tickling, she was making faces, there was props, anything, you name it, she was trying to get a laugh out of you. And like this dedication wasn't anything out of the ordinary for your mom. For example, like during pregnancy, there was countless books, articles. We had to watch so many documentaries about babies and their development. And I'll be honest, the documentaries are terrible. Most of them are just filled with useless facts that are actually like kind of creepy.
When a newborn baby is held underwater, they will instinctively hold their breath.
How did they discover that? With breastfeeding and milk production, there have been classes, tinctures, supplements, medication, exercises, specialty foods. We've had acupuncture, lactation consultants, and we've bought 4 breast pumps. 4. All these things add up. They are expensive. I know you're in the future, so you're not really aware of this, but at this moment in time, we are not rich. We're actually kind of poor, but in the future, we do find a bag of money. All of this has been done during COVID too. That means that we are very isolated. Now, I don't know in the future what you know about COVID, but it's bad. Here's some footage I took the other day of the street.
Bring out today!
If you don't know what that is, then I've failed as a parent. COVID has meant a great deal of isolation. There's not been a lot of opportunity to socialize with people. You haven't met a single family member yet. So for your poor mom, she's been recovering from giving birth. She's been learning how to be a mom. She's been very isolated. And she's also been dealing with me. My mental health has not been great. I've actually been dealing with postpartum. Men can get that too. And when I'm down, some of my less favorable traits come out and rise to the surface, and your mom's been dealing with that. And like, I have a long list of faults. One of my faults is that I have this terrible habit of shooting my mouth off. For too long, my motto was, if you can't say something nice, say something clever, yet devastating. And when your mom was pregnant, I developed this fear that what if you took on that trait? What if you come out and you're more like me? And I was telling a friend about it one day, and they said, hey, yeah, but she could also be like Vicky. And that's a really good thought. In the event you do inherit my mouth, I have some advice for you. This is advice that, while I've been going through postpartum, has been really invaluable for me. On my wedding day, someone pulled me aside and they gave me this advice, and I want to share it with you. They said, if you're ever really upset with her, ask yourself 3 questions before you respond. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And if you can't answer yes to all three, then just bite your tongue. There's never easier work than keeping your mouth shut. And that woman just never deserves any sort of hurt from either of us. I don't know if words could ever accurately depict love. Actions do, though, and your mother's actions are nothing but love. She spends 6 hours a day hooked up to a machine so she can feed you. Each night before bed, she massages oil into your skin so that the dry winter air doesn't bother you. And each sound you make throughout the night, she is there to soothe you so that you fall back asleep. But for the most loving thing of all, remember that laugh she wanted to get from you? She worked so hard. And I want you to learn about finances, so I'm going to teach you how to be responsible. These are scratch tickets.